It was a cold, gray Sunday afternoon when I decided to go for a long bike ride through the countryside. The roads were empty, the sky was overcast, and there wasn't another person in sight for miles. About an hour into the ride, the weather suddenly changed. Dark clouds rolled overhead, and within minutes, rain began hammering the road. The wind howled through the trees, and visibility dropped fast. I was soaked almost instantly. There were no gas stations, no houses, and no place to take shelter. Then I saw it. Sitting on a hill a few hundred yards off the road was an enormous abandoned mansion. The place looked like it had been forgotten for decades. Ivy crawled across the stone walls like veins. Most of the windows were boarded shut, and the roof sagged in several places. With the storm getting worse, I had little choice. I left my bike near the gate and ran toward the house. To my surprise, the front door opened with almost no effort. The smell hit me first, a mixture of mold, damp wood, and something much worse, something rotten. The interior was covered in dust, and the silence was so complete that I could hear water dripping somewhere deep inside the building. An uneasy feeling settled in my stomach. I couldn't explain it, but every instinct told me I shouldn't be there. Then I noticed something strange. A trail stretched across the dusty floor of the hallway. It looked as though something had recently been dragged through the house. What bothered me most was that there were no footprints, just drag marks, nothing else. I followed the trail with my eyes until it disappeared around a corner. That's when I saw the coat. An old military coat hung from the staircase railing. The fabric was faded and covered with dust. For some reason, I walked over and picked it up. The moment I touched it, a foul odor rose from the fabric. Turning it over, I noticed a small hole burned through the back. The cloth around it was blackened and stained dark brown. It looked exactly like a bullet hole. A chill ran through me. The smell wasn't just mold. It smelled like decay. Like something dead. I quickly hung the coat back where I'd found it. For a few seconds, I just stood there staring at it. The entire house felt wrong, almost alive. Trying to calm my nerves, I headed into what looked like an old living room. There was a massive stone fireplace against one wall. I gathered a few pieces of wood and attempted to start a fire. The flames barely caught. Rain battered the windows while thunder shook the house. I kept telling myself there was nothing to be afraid of. Just an abandoned building, nothing more. Then I heard it. Flop. A soft sound echoed from the hallway. I froze. The noise sounded like something heavy dropping onto the floor. The room fell silent again. I listened. Nothing. Slowly, I walked toward the doorway and peeked into the hall. Empty. No movement. No sound except rain. Then my stomach dropped. The military coat was gone. I stared at the staircase. The railing where it had hung was empty. My pulse immediately began racing. I knew I hadn't imagined it. The coat had been right there. A sudden laugh echoed somewhere in the darkness. Low, quiet, almost playful. My blood turned to ice. The sound seemed to come from deeper inside the house. Then I heard something dragging across the floor. Slowly. Closer. Closer. I backed into the living room. The dragging sound stopped. For a moment, everything was still. Then something moved behind me. I turned and nearly screamed. Standing in the doorway was the coat. Not a person wearing it, just the coat. Empty sleeves hanging at its sides. No head, no face, no body. Yet somehow it stood upright. The sleeves twitched. The coat took a step forward. The fabric shifted as if invisible limbs were inside it. I stumbled backward until I hit the fireplace. My heart felt ready to explode. The coat advanced slowly. One sleeve lifted. Reaching toward my throat, I grabbed the iron poker from beside the fireplace and swung with every ounce of strength I had. The metal connected with the coat. Instantly, the thing collapsed into a lifeless heap on the floor. For a second, everything went silent. Then the coat began moving again. I didn't wait to see more. I ran, out of the room, down the hallway, through the front door, into the storm. As I sprinted across the yard, I glanced back. The coat lay on the doorstep, motionless, watching, waiting. I rode my bike through the rain until I found a small roadside bar several miles away. My hands shook so badly I could barely hold my drink. After a while, I asked the bartender about the abandoned mansion. The old man became strangely quiet. Then he sighed. I was wondering if somebody would eventually end up in that place, he said. According to him, the mansion once belonged to a retired Army staff sergeant. The man was infamous in the area, cruel, violent, feared by everyone who knew him. People whispered that he abused his wife and terrorized his children for years. No one ever dared interfere. Until one night, everything changed. One of his daughters finally snapped. While he was walking through the house wearing his military coat, she took his service revolver and shot him in the back. The old man leaned closer. They say he died instantly. I swallowed hard. My eyes drifted toward the rain-covered window. The bartender's expression darkened. The strange thing is, he paused. Nobody ever found the coat. Outside, thunder rolled across the sky, and for a brief moment, I thought I saw a dark figure standing across the road, an empty military coat, waiting in the rain.